Joining us from the Education City Stadium, where Morocco stunned Spain on penalties, I have the pleasure of being joined by sports editor Simon Harding. Simon, you were at the game. Ambience, incredible. I haven't really seen anything like that before. Just tell me what the emotions were from those Moroccan fans and players.
Well, an outpouring of emotion, an outpouring of pride at the Education City Stadium, which I have since vacated, as you can probably tell from where I'm standing, Jean. But absolutely, what a sensational performance from the Moroccans, who have, they completely deserve to take the victory, led, of course, by the mastermind behind this renaissance, Walid Regragui, the head coach. Morocco once again do not concede a goal, once again built on such a defensive solidity. And everyone outside the stadium, after 36 years after reaching the knockout stages for the first time, reached the quarterfinals for the first time, with so much belief that they can go even further. They expected it to be Portugal next. That's the game they won, and they're going to have to be solid in that one as well. But they're going to have the backing of such an amazing crowd here in Qatar.
Such an amazing crowd, Simon and Ruben. Now, I just want to talk about the defensive rigidity that has been formed under Walid Regragui. Can it win a tournament?
Well, if they can win, that's quite a bold question, to be honest. But it's so incredible what he has done, because in such a short time, taking over just a few months ago, this team has become so solid at the back. But also when going forward, it's interesting to watch. You have to know that today they have just 23% of the ball, but they, like Simon correctly said, they deserve to win, which is incredible because Spain was dominating the whole game, but was never dangerous. The defense of Morocco is so strong with the four at the back. Bounou is a fantastic goalkeeper. We saw it today during the penalties. And you shouldn't forget that man Sofiane Amrabat on midfield, who is cutting all the passes out. He's such a fantastic midfielder. He is one of the players of the tournament so far.
And you mentioned those penalties. Now, we noticed together that pretty much most of those players who missed their penalties were substitutes. Is that correct?
Yeah, and we've seen it now so often. I remember about the final of the Euro 2021 with the English players coming on as well, Rashford and Sancho at the time. But now we saw Sarabia coming on, and we were already like, why are you doing this, putting him under such a pressure? And he missed straight away. To be fair, all the Spanish penalties were really poor. But also credit to Bounou for keeping them out, of course.
Of course. Well, Simon, if we can go back to you now, just a quick question on Spain. Luis Enrique said that they were going to be practicing 1,000 penalties. He wasn't going to take it for granted. They're out, though. And where to from there? Because it's a very young team, but we've just been frustrated time and time again.
Frustrated time and time again. This is a Spanish team that, since winning the World Cup in 2010, hasn't reached the quarterfinals. They went out in the group stages 4 years later. They were out in the last 16 against Russia 4 years ago, and now they're out again here in a game that many people expected them to win. I think Luis Enrique is going to first have to answer to the music. Why was someone like Sergio Ramos not included in a team to bring his experience and his know-how, particularly as Rodri was playing in the centre-back pairing with Aymeric Laporte, instead of having a real defensive and centre-back that would be there. It is a young team. There's so much talent. I think one of the priorities is to get a real striker, a real centre forward. We've spoken time and time again on this show about how important it is to have a striker in their team, and Spain didn't have one. Alvaro Morata, despite scoring in every game so far in the tournament ahead of this one, didn't start. That, to me, was one of the big surprises. Why did Marcos Llorente start at right back? Was it to dominate more possession in transition, the way someone like Joao Cancelo does at Manchester City? Those are some interesting questions. I just wanted to touch upon what Ruben and you were saying before Morocco. 2 key points. Morocco's 2 centre-backs look to be out for the quarterfinals, and if so, that's going to be a massive miss. You saw Aguerd go off with an injury, and Romain Saïss was basically running on one leg at the end of the match. If they lose that spine to their central pairing, it is going to be very, very worrying against the Portuguese side, especially considering how Hakimi and Mazraoui on the other side like to get forwards, and that would be a huge loss for Morocco.
Yeah, Simon. Just to add in on that, I mean, you saw it also at the stadium. It even seemed that Saiz was just taking huge risks by playing those last 5 minutes. Or do we know a little bit how he is right now?
No, there's been no reports, and I'm pretty sure that everyone in Regragi's camp is going to want to keep that quiet because it would be just a massive boost. But yes, absolutely, he had heavy strapping on the left thigh. He pulled up just after he kicked the ball away, which would indicate that his hamstrings went. How severe is it? We don't know. Maybe we'll find out in the coming days. But if Romain Saiz, who's been the absolute general at the back for Morocco, if he's out, just him, regardless of Aguerd or not, then that would still be a massive loss. And that connection between them and Amrabat, as you pointed out as well, is so key to that solid triangle in midfield and defence for Morocco.
Well, of course, that game against Portugal now, it is so imperative that Portugal, comes up against a full-strength Moroccan defence. As far as the Moroccans are concerned,